Next up is a story that's been generating headlines for weeks, from the Harvard Crimson to the likes of Time, the Washington Post, the New York Times, People, Cosmopolitan, Sports Illustrated, and other news outlets across the globe. It's the story of Skylar Baylor, the first openly transgender swimmer in NCAA Division I history. Recruited to the women's team, he'll be swimming with the men when he enters this fall, thanks in part to two coaches who gave him the option of swimming wherever he felt most comfortable. And those two coaches join me now. Stephanie Morosky, a former Harvard swimmer herself, now entering her 19th year as head coach of the women's team, and Kevin Tyrell, who's coached Olympic swim teams and now heads up the men's swimming program at Harvard. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
So, Stephanie, can you start out by telling me when you first began to recruit Skylar and why Skylar was an attractive recruit at that time?
Sure. So we started with emails as per NCAA rules in the fall of 2012, and I met Skylar for the first time in the spring of 2013. And
so we're talking, this is when he was a
junior,
right?
Junior
in
high school, right? And Skylar was female at the time, presenting female. And when I met Skylar at the time, I mean, she was outgoing, engaging, fun, intelligent, and someone who was really very, had a good work ethic and very into team.
How was she as a swimmer?
Very good.
Like, how good? For those of us who don't know the world of competitive swimming.
So I would say for us, she would be someone who would probably be perhaps even breaking our team record in the 100 breaststroke.
Oh, really?
Right, and that we would use on relays.
All right, so when did you learn that she, in fact, might not be swimming with your team after all?
So in the spring, a year later, after Skylar was already accepted in the spring of 2014, Skylar was going to take a gap year. It said that there were some personal things that she needed to take care of. One of them was an eating disorder and was going to take a year off, and I was in support of that. I didn't know the deeper issues there until the fall of 2014, so this past fall.
Okay. Kevin Tyrell, did you offer Skylar a spot on your team before or after you spoke with your swimmers? I know you talked to them, but did you decide that you were going to give him a chance to swim with you before or after you consulted them?
Probably before, but I had a pretty good sense of my team. And they're usually pretty open, pretty accepting about people who are a little bit different. And so I naturally consulted with them afterwards. But you just have that sense when you're working with a group of young men that they're going to be open to something that's a little bit different.
Why was it that you decided to make a spot on the men's team available? Because as I understand it, as good as Skylar was when Skylar was a woman, now that Skylar is a man, he is not as high caliber a swimmer. That's my understanding. So what made you say, okay, well, we're going to give him a spot?
Well, that's probably correct. I mean, Skylar probably will be our slowest swimmer to start. We'll see how Skylar progresses over the years. But basically what it came down to is that Skylar's, when you get admitted to Harvard and you get admitted to the men's and women's swimming family, we take that very seriously as a big responsibility. And so once that offer was made to us, it was really what's best for Skylar as a human being. And so at that point, it was really an either-or thing. And Skylar's passionate, wants to get better, and I always carry slower swimmers on my team, swimmers who are not necessarily recruited because they're going to score points, but swimmers who get into Harvard because they're qualified academically. So Skylar was a good fit for us.
So this is, I'm guessing, a question that some viewers are going to have. It's a question that popped into my head as you were talking. Will there be anyone who is not going to have a spot on the team because Skylar's swimming on it, who would be, say, faster than he is? Okay.
No, because
and that's an important point.
It's a huge point. The questions I've gotten from other college coaches around the country is this taking a scholarship away from somebody else? What you need to understand is the Ivy League doesn't have athletic scholarships, so it's really a matter of, is there space in the pool, and then at the same time, can Skylar keep up so Skylar or any other swimmer wouldn't interrupt practice?
Tell me just briefly, I want to get Stephanie back in here, but how did your male swimmers respond when you broached this with them?
It was about a 30-second conversation, and they said, can Skylar keep up in practice, and do you like Skylar as a human being? And then they said, sure, let's do it.
Stephanie, did you have a conversation with your women swimmers when there was a possibility that Skylar, even though Skylar's now a man, was going to be swimming with women? Did you kick it around with them, see how they'd feel?
We did, yes. And I think ultimately everyone was in support of whatever was best for Skylar, like Kevin said. But I think really what it came down to was what's best for Skylar. And you have an opportunity when you start in college to sort of start all over again. And what we
it's
really,
one of the great things
right.
about,
and what we said to Skylar is, well, why would you be one gender on one side of the river and then swim for the women's team just because biologically that's your body. But if you're not comfortable, then why would you do that? And so that was one of the things, and it really ultimately came down to Skylar. And once Skylar said, talked to Kevin, and Kevin was very open and said, you know, this is your decision, do what you want. Then it really became, well, you've got 2 head coaches, 4 captains, and 2 teams that support you, so do what's right for you.
I'm not trying to accentuate the negative, but I'm really curious. Was there anyone who even, in passing, said that they might be uncomfortable if they were swimming with someone who was transitioning from being a woman to being a man?
I think it raised questions about certainly the locker room, but it was more questions about equipment. What are we going to do with some of the equipment? Would Skylar then we'd have to order the male style for Skylar. I mean, I don't think anyone felt uncomfortable with Skylar in the pool. It was more just the little details. And we didn't really get that far into it because ultimately Skylar decided to follow his heart and swim for the men's team.
One of the big questions I've had as I've learned about this story is what the reaction would have been if it was a man who was transitioning into a woman, whether people would have been sort of as broad-minded as they have been in both your cases. What do you think the answer to that is? I mean, let's say there was a hypothetical person who was admitted as a man, decided that they were going to be a woman. Would people on the women's team say, oh, yeah, I'm all for this, bring her on? Or might there be a little more concern in that case, whether it's competitive advantage or simply sharing the space with someone who used to present as the other gender? What do you think?
Right. Well, that's a great question, and I'm actually not sure if we found an NCAA answer to that because we haven't gone that route, but I'm not sure if male to female is a smoother transition to being on my team. So that may make my team a co-ed team, which would have a whole nother set of circumstances.
What do you think? I mean, you're part of this. I know, you wouldn't be affected in the same way, but how do you think that would have gone over?
Well, I think the acceptance probably from this generation probably would have been just as good as it has been
I would
this
agree
way.
with that.
I think that there would be a lot more questions about competitive advantage, and I think that's just because the nature of sports is you want to win in sports, and so if there's something that changes the game a little bit, there's more questions around that.
And especially even though you guys don't give scholarships, my sense is that in a number of sports, Harvard competes at a very, very high level. So it's not like it's and I went to a D3 school. It's not like it's a D3 school.
Sure, and and a lot of people at Harvard and elsewhere want to see us win. So I mean, I think that sort of adds a different dimension if it was going to be from male to female in that instance.
I think the big thing that we just want to say about Skylar is that Skylar's just an amazing person, and
it sounds remarkable.
Yeah, and I think it's the strength of character that makes us support him.
Well, maybe we can get Skylar to come in here at some point. Stephanie Morosky, Kevin Tyrell, thank you both.
Thank you.